Y'all, Pilgrim's Pride here with you. I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. Before we get started though, I want to give a big thank you to Prepper Tribe. This morning on his show, he gave me a shout out and that really made me ecstatic. I told the wife about it. She's like, "What? Tribe gave you a shout out?" And I was like, "Yeah, babe." So that pushes me to want to put more videos out there, better content for you guys. So that's why in this video, I'm going to go over 8 simple habits that preppers should pick up if they haven't already. Alright, and the first habit on this list is to be always to carry a lighter with you. That should be pretty self-evident, even if you don't smoke. And you don't know how many people out there that do smoke and they never have a lighter. You know, they're going to be screwed. They'll have cigarettes, but they don't have no lighter. Anyway, there's so many people died of hypothermia. They thought they was out hiking, or they was out doing something, or they got broken down on the side of the road and tried to walk to the gas station. You know, they think that they can start a fire sticks and stones because they see somebody on YouTube do it or on TV, and 9 out of 10 times they're not successful. They end up freezing to death. So always have a lighter on you, because that's always an instant access to several fires, you know. So lighter, number 1. The second thing is also something you carry in your pocket, and that's a pocket knife. Even if it's a little cheapo one like this, $10, you know, but it still serves its purposes. You can use this self-defense. Someone's getting on you, hurting real bad, you get this out of your pocket and you defend yourself with it. Or you can use it for kindling, cutting rope. You can use them as screwdrivers. You know, knives have all kinds of purposes. If you don't carry a knife with you, you're not prepared, right? You know, a knife is one of the most simple things, you know, along with a lighter. You'd think the knife and a lighter would be in everybody's pocket, but a lot of people don't carry a knife. You know, even if you have good hand-to-hand skills, it's still good to have a knife, even against 3 or 4 dudes. You know, who knows what's going on in the situation. Always have your knife, and that's a little bit of peace of mind right there, even if you have a CCW like me. But I still carry a knife. All right, now I'm on to number 3 on my list, and that is to always pick up preps at least once a week, even if it's at $20-25, even if it's $1 to $5, something like that. You know, this isn't like my payday preps I do my payday preps about once a month, and that's usually enough to get us over. We still have rice from 3 months ago that we're eating on. We still haven't even opened up the other bags, so the payday preps are really helpful. This is what I call like my weekly payday prep. I spend about $30, about $25-30 on all this stuff. The blanket right here, I saw it was $15, but I love the Native American style of it, and you know, the color obviously. No, this would be good, and I think I'm incorporating this into one of the bug out bags. Got some twine. Twine serves all kind of purposes. It's really helpful starting fires. And you can also use it for fixing tools or creating tools with. So get a couple more of these. This is the only one they had at the Dollar Tree I went to today. So I'm planning on getting more. These are gonna definitely be going in the bug out bags. Or I didn't go Dollar Tree, I went to Walmart. They didn't have any more at Walmart. I don't know why I said Dollar Tree. But 2-pound bag of lentils, 2 cases of mac and cheese, and I went ahead and I got me 1 more can of pork and beans and tomato sauce. You know, just to add this to the food preps, you know, lentils obviously have a long shelf life. These will have a pretty good amount of shelf life. The cans, as you saw, I don't know if I had another video that I put out a couple days ago where I ate the can of Beanie Weenies expired for 2 years ago, but they're still good. So, you know, the shelf life on the can, it depends on who makes it, you know. But like it'll last forever, you know, about at least 4 or 5 years past expiration date. You know, I got all this stuff right here for about $30, about $25-30, and that's just a little minor addition to price. Here's my food preps, here's to my survival preps, and this is also to my survival preps. I say stock up on blankets if you live in an apartment like me and you don't have access to wood stove. That's why I'm conflicted about the rocket stove. And I'll have to go out to campsites to do videos with it, because I do live in an apartment and I know they'd be tripping if I use it on my balcony. That's why I say stock up on blankets too, though. Always, you know, if you have a bunch of blankets, you and your family, you can wrap up with your family, and you guys, you know, you'll be better off than if you didn't have any blankets at all, obviously. Alright, and that leads us on to the next thing on the list. Look for value brands. Stay frugal. You know, these are great value, you know. and you'll save money. And that's basically the same thing. It might not taste the same, but you know, it's basically the same thing. It has the same nutrients and carbs and calories and all that. So you're still getting the food, and it's going into your preps, you know. And the value brands, you know, are even for anything, not just food. You know, I mean, obviously, if you're going to be getting a knife, you know, you're going to be wanting to get out. I'm going to be getting me a better knife soon. You know, whenever the money comes around, I'm going to be getting trying to get a Man Moon knife. I saw one of those in Angry Pepper's podcast, on Angry Pepper's show last year, and it was looking pretty tight. But yeah, that's it for that. And on to the next thing. And a lot of people I know don't even have one, and that is a first aid kit. You need to have, even if it's a simple one. We're about to be getting a more advanced first aid kit for inside the house. We're gonna probably put this inside one of the cars, most likely Mama Pilgrim's car. You know, this is a very simple first aid kit. They already had, you know, it had 100 band-aids in it. It got like 50 things of gauze. It had a bandage tape, you know, but we went ahead and we added some of, we have some, let me see, what else do we have? Yeah, we have a tourniquet thing in here. Look at this. A bandana serves all kinds of purpose. You use that as tourniquet. You can use that to carry stuff. We have this belt right here. You could also use that to aid for the tourniquet. You know, just a couple little things to add to it. There's some nitrile gloves in here. You know, that has a first aid guide. It tells you how to use the bandages. Tells you how to apply the Heimlich maneuver and all stuff, everything like that. You know, the most simple of medical practices. You know, for first aid, it shows you all the first aid, anything first aid that you think of, it shows you for that. All right, you know, we added a bunch of stuff to this. You see, have your first aid kit, you know, always add to it, always be editing it, always, with the same thing with your bug out bags and all your preps, always be taking stuff in and out and putting stuff, rearranging things. And I love having a first aid kit because, you know, a lot of people I know don't have one for some reason, and they think that it's weird that I do, but haters are gonna hate. And that leads me on to the next thing on my list. Reuse jugs. Every time we get done with a gallon of milk or a gallon of anything or anything that's like this, we dump it out and we fill it with water. 6 months later, we dump it out again, refill it. We had about 50 gallons stored up. All right, and that's from the past year of us dumping out and refilling. And we've had to refill them once. And but they're still good to go. You know, it's good to have that extra water. You're not having to buy it. You know, you're saving that 50 gallons, an extra 50 gallons you have just sitting around. It's a lot of bottles, a lot of jugs, but it'll be worth it in the long run. And on to my final prepping good habit to pick up, if you haven't already. And that's just basically knowledge, you know, and getting to know your area, getting to know where you live at, getting to know, you know, the animals that live there, the plants and the wildlife, you know, all that stuff. You get to know the weather. Get one of these Forager's Harvest. This will tell you what's good to eat and what's not, what'll kill you and what'll make you feel better, what you can use as headache medicine, what you can use to help with a burn. This is a really good book. I recommend it. It's on Amazon. It's $14. You can use the Survival Medicine Guide. Shout out to Magic Prepper. He got me turned on to this in conjunction with your first aid kit. All right, and this will teach you everything from how to deal with a scrape to a bullet wound, and it's definitely worth it. It was also $14. Learn how to read maps, and that's something I'm learning, and I'm about to get out there in the next couple of days. Maybe next week we'll be doing a map reading video. We'll be going out for a good hike now that spring's here. Get into hiking. That's another thing from knowledge. Learn new things. You know, I got this. It comes with a map of the Smoky Mountains. That's where I live at. So, you know, this tells you about the trails, about the wildlife dangers in each one of the trails, about the different, tells you how to read the map, tells you about the different markers and things that let you know how to get around in here. So it's good to get to know your area, right? And there's another thing I forgot to mention, get to know your neighbors. All right, try to establish community. You don't have to be a weirdo. You don't have to be like, hey, are you a prepper? You know, blah, blah, blah. I am. I have this, I have that, and I believe in this. No, just be like, hey, how are you doing? You know, and go from there. You know, don't push anything. I know you want the instant thought for most people is, I want to have a community going, or I want to start with my neighbors. But, you know, not everybody's receptive. Agent Smith comes into people from the Matrix whenever you start talking to them about that, and they want to shut you down. However, it's still good just to be friendly. You don't want them thinking you're a weirdo whenever the shit hits the fan. You don't want them being like, oh yeah, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to fuck with this person because they seem weak or they're a weirdo or something like that. And you don't want them coming over and messing with you because they know you got prep. So you don't want to reveal that information. Hey, I got all this food and water and all this stockpiled information, all this stuff over here, you know. Another good way to know your neighbors. My neighbor, he's a cop. I love that. I think that's cool. That makes me feel more protection here. And, you know, I feel like he could fill out like a Rick Grimes role of some kind if the shit ever did hit the fan. You know, so getting to know your neighbors is a good thing. You know, you know, treat your neighbors like you would yourself. You know, anybody who's read the Bible knows that being kind to your neighbors is one of the main tenets of being a Christian, you know, so apply that to your life. And this is kind of an easy habit, but kind of a hard one I just recently started picking up. Save your money. Always try to have at least $1,500, I would say, saved aside for an absolute emergency. You know, don't use it for anything else other than an absolute emergency, right? And you find yourself on that day and you need it, you're going to be like, I'm glad that I have this. And so, compared to days and you're like, oh man, I need this. I need a pack of cigarettes, or I need something like that. You know, you could just be, you have that money saved now, you're getting kicked out, but you have enough money to put a deposit down and get another place, right? Let's keep that in mind. All right, guys, I'll take suggestions. Give me ideas for new videos. Tell me things that you think are good habits that preppers can pick up or that preppers should have. All right, God bless you guys all. God bless America, and you guys have a good night.